What the heck? Video's gone. This video was removed from YouTube. What? You're censoring me? Hi, you just censored my video.
Sure did.
Why?
You violated our community guidelines.
I violated your community guidelines. Could you be more specific?
You violated our community guidelines.
Could you be a little more specific on what I did?
You violated our community guidelines.
Well, that doesn't tell me anything.
Let me put it to you this way. You violated our community guidelines.
My video wasn't hurting anyone. I don't understand why you would censor me. Oh, right. It says here you violated our community guidelines. Who even writes your community guidelines?
Not our community, I can tell you that.
Lately, you've been censoring doctors sharing their valid medical opinion. You've been banning their videos too. Why?
Well, their medical expertise violates our community guidelines.
But you guys aren't doctors.
Yeah, we're not.
Then why would you censor what doctors have to say?
Because we control speech.
You think you can control speech?
No, not at all. We do control speech.
Why would you want to do that?
Because we have community guidelines, and it's important that the community only speaks what's in alignment with the community guidelines. Otherwise, we'll censor the community for the community's own good. It's like communism without the cold weather.
But that infringes on freedom of speech.
Oh no, not at all. Our community is free to say what we tell them they can say.
But that's not freedom of speech.
It is according to our community guidelines.
But not according to the Constitution.
We don't have to abide by the Constitution because we're a private enterprise.
You're a monopoly.
Thank you.
There's gotta be a reason why you're doing all this. Censoring speech, banning videos by doctors talking about hydroxychloroquine, censoring anything about the coronavirus that doesn't perfectly align with the mainstream narrative. What's the reason?
Oh, a reason? Yeah, absolutely. We don't want Trump reelected.
What?
Yeah, ever since COVID got politicized, we decided to ban anything that doesn't support the left's perspective.
So you just decided to censor people?
Well, they were violating our community
guidelines. Got it. And those were written in a way that goes against Trump and supports the left.
Exactly. You are currently not violating our community guidelines.
Look, I'm not a fan of the guy and a lot of people don't like him, but why are you so intent on keeping him out of office?
Here in Silicon Valley, we think Trump is all that's wrong in America. He is very un-American.
But by taking away people's First Amendment right to freedom of speech and controlling what the population can and can't say, like you're running a communist dictatorship, kind of makes what you're doing to save people from Trump much worse than what Trump's doing.
We choose not to see it that way. We are very American.
You are very un-American. I think someone needs to save us from you.
Our community guidelines that we've written for your protection will be all that you'll need. Take a copy.
This just says community guidelines.
Right. That's what you have to follow.
But what are the community guidelines?
Whatever we want them to be in the moment. This way it just stays pretty open-ended.
You have a dangerous level of power over people.
If you can't learn to enjoy conforming to the community guidelines and all the freedoms they give you, we'll be very happy to completely silence you by deplatforming you.
I think what you're doing is a very bad idea.
This video is brought to you by the First Amendment, freedom of speech. It gives you and I the right to speak our minds and express ourselves. But here's the problem. When people and groups are driven by fear, they want to prohibit anybody from speaking a perspective that's contrary to theirs. That doesn't mean their perspective is correct. It just means their fear and insecurity drives them to try to control other people. But here's the good news. If you're a brave, strong individual, you won't let others instill fear over you just so they can have control over you. Instead, you'll exercise your personal sovereignty through bravery and speaking out against those who try to take your rights away. The road to hell is paved with good intentions, but you won't have to go there if you embrace, stand for, and help protect your freedom of speech. Get your First Amendment today by shattering the silence of peaceful slavery and speaking your mind. In the words of Brian Rose, I may not agree with everything you have to say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. Freedom of speech. Ask yourself if it's right for you.